Hi, welcome to part 3. And today we're getting vertical because we are going to establish your posture shelf. So I need you to find a belt. You can use a resistance band, you can use a yoga belt, but I'm going to go ahead and use just a leather belt. And this is how we measure it. I want you to stretch it from armpit to armpit. And wherever that falls, when it's folded in half, that's the right length. Then I'm going to have you take this belt and put it behind you like you're putting on a backpack. Now, after this, I'm going to have you externally rotate the top of each arm. You did this laying on the roller on the ground. Hug the elbows to the side of the body, and when you bend the elbows, the hands are out to the sides. All right, we're in position to find your posture shelf. Now, shift your weight a little bit to your heels, tailbone down, and then I want you to send your rib cage into the belt. Now you might find it shifts your shoulders a little forward. Don't worry about that. We'll find that external rotation again. Drop the shoulder, press into the heels, power it from the ground. Keep that rib cage connected to the belt. That's your posture shelf. Learning to stack your blocks vertical is different than learning to stack your blocks horizontal. We had 3 points of connection on our roller and we used gravity to align us. But to maintain that alignment while you're vertical, you have to focus on the space between the blocks. The blocks don't stack themselves. And that's what we're doing today. And we start with the posture shelf. So, externally rotate, elbows to the side, shift your rib cage into the belt. If it brings you your shoulder forward, I want you to open each shoulder. You're going to feel activation through the back of your legs. You're going to feel it through your low back and your abdominals are active. You're powering up your legs. That's your posture shelf. Now, here we go with our first exercise. And I'm going to refer to the posture shelf again and again throughout part 3 here. Let's grab your roller and we're going to go along the wall. 3 points of connection. Sacrum, shoulder blades, back of head. Let's reposture the face and neck. Tuck the chin, lengthen the back of the neck, lengthen the low back, externally rotate top of each arm, squeeze those elbows, power up those legs. Find your posture shelf, bring the rib cage back. Now, we're going to send our elbows back. Really watch these shoulders here. It was probably easier on the ground. So find that posture shelf again, because as you bring your elbows back, everything's going to want to drift forward. So shifting your rib cage back, keep that external rotation. It really helps. Chin tucked, elbows to the wall, hands to the wall. Okay. I know this isn't easy. Walk your feet together. Tailbone down. Keep that posture shelf, rib cage back, chin tucked, and bring up one knee and the other. Now your elbows are into the wall. Feel free to rotate your wrists and do your Spider-Man hands from part 2. But keep that reposturing also from part 2 of the head and the neck and the face. Abdominals are active. Keep that rib cage back, finding that posture shelf. Exhaling, and you're going to need to keep working it. Your chin will drift. Things will slide. So, lengthen the low back, shift the rib cage back. Always start an external rotation. Tuck the chin, open the chest. Abdominals active. And fight to keep it. We're going to do about 20. We probably have. And then when you're ready, I'm going to have you quiet your feet. A little hip hinge. Come off the wall. And that's the beginning of getting vertical. I'm on my knees for this next exercise. Your hips are the foundation of your posture, so we're going to work on stabilizing your hips. All right. I'm going to remember what my posture shelf felt like, because on my knees everything feels different. Remember, your posture is organic, it's always moving and changing. So externally rotate, bring my rib cage back, That feels very different. It really elongates my hip flexors, makes me sort of pull my hips up. That's a different feeling. So I'm going to try to hold on to that during this next exercise. Hands forward, retract the shoulder blades, one hand on the end of your roller, two hands, pressing down. We're going to press into the roller and lift up your sternum. Find your posture shelf, and then press into one knee and send the other leg forward in a 90-degree angle and then back. Press into the roller. Feel the length between the bottom rib and hip, tailbone down, step forward and come back. Forward and come back. Forward and come back. Now, imagine this is your femur and this is your hip. I want you to try to get a little pocket of air between the femur and the hip. Find that pocket of air, find that posture shelf, hands on top of roller, one more time. Uploading your hips, activating your legs, press one knee into the ground so that the other leg can lift up. Always working in opposition, hips pull back while leg steps forward. Now, next exercise. Press your hands into the roller and find your posture shelf. Hips tuck a little bit and rib cage pulls back. Now, the leg's gonna go forward as your hips pull back. Hips pull back and stay quiet as the leg steps forward. Hips pull back and stay quiet as the leg steps forward. What we want to avoid is that the hips go forward and the leg catches. It's not about momentum. It's about opposition. Pull those hips back, find your posture shelf to help you create that position, and then step forward. Press into one knee and the other. Press into the knee to lift the opposite leg. Press into that knee, activating those muscles through the glute and the hamstring to step forward again. One more each side. And then let's find our posture shelf again. Back to the posture shelf. Always checking in, because your posture is organic, it's fluid, it's always changing. So the purpose of the shelf is so that you can check in and sort of restore your posture throughout the day. All right. So, external rotation, holding onto my roller, elbows reach for the ground, find the external rotation, your triceps are active, open up the chest, posture shelf, pull your rib cage back, and let's do it again. Now, as you press into one knee, you quiet the hips. You'll find you have a stronger side and a weaker side. I find that all the time. And then you'll let your body figure out what it needs to activate to quiet your inner corset so that you can step forward without toppling over your 4 blocks of weight. One more each side. And then we're going to lose the belt. Have a little faith in your body. Well, that was loud. And we're going to put this behind your head. So start with your hands on either side of the roller. And then you are going to send your head forward for a second. But I'm going to have you externally rotate top of each arm, open up the chest, press your head into the roller. So your hands are a little bit behind, your elbows are behind you like you were on the wall earlier. Tailbone down, shoulders down, chest open. Bring that rib cage back, find your posture shelf, press one knee into the mat, step forward. Press the other knee into the mat, step forward. One knee, The other knee. Whew. We're going to add on to this next week, but that's next week. Okay. One more on this side, because this is my bad side. I like to always do extra on my less organized side. Last exercise in part 3 brings back our roll up, but with our posture shelf. So take whatever you're using, belt, band, and let's get those arms into your belt, and we're going to find your posture shelf right here on the edge of your roller. So sitting on the edge of your roller, feet in front, externally rotate top of each arm, elbows to the side, and then I'm going to have you bring your rib cage back into the belt, and we've established your posture shelf. Now we're going to lay each of your 4 blocks of weight down onto your roller. Start with the hip block, the rib cage block, which feels a lot more alive now that you have a posture shelf, you understand, and you'll find how you elongate the space between your hip and your rib. And then we'll put down your shoulders and your head. So your 4 blocks of weight. Now coming back up, we're going to remember what we did in part 2. Reposture your face and neck. Then find your posture shelf, get your rib cage back into that belt, hold on to your external rotation and feel how your whole back body is active. Now here we go, 1 block at a time. Exhale, elongate, head block. Now keep that posture shelf active, keep the rib cage moving into the belt while we pick your shoulders up, and then we'll pick the rib cage up, and then your hip block. 1 more time. So nice strong external rotation, top of each arm, bend the elbows, find that posture shelf, bring your rib cage back into that belt, and then hips. And remember, it's the space between the blocks. That's what's different. So elongate as you move to the rib cage so that you can hold the posture shelf in place. And then we've got your shoulders and your head. Now we're gonna roll back up and we're gonna add a twist, literally. So exhale, find your posture shelf, reposture your face and neck as you roll up. Ooh. All right, here's your twist. I'm gonna have you find your posture shelf. Ooh, it's a little uncomfortable. Externally rotate top of each arm, rotate your rib cage, and we're gonna get this hand on the roller. Then a little extra twist, and maybe you lower and come back up. Let's try the other side. Externally rotate top of each arm, find that posture shelf, tailbone reaches down, rotate through the torso, find your roller, bend the elbow, maybe the elbow comes super close to the roller, and then you're back up. So we're activating these muscles that hold your inner corset together, the muscles that allow you to pick yourself up and actively sit. Once we got your posture shelf in place, we're gonna activate some muscles around it to help it out. So twist as much as you can. And when I put my hand down, I'm nowhere near the roller. So I'm gonna twist a little bit more, find the roller, and then reach down, elbow, touches the roller, come on back, last one. Rotate, twist. You'll have a natural amount of twist, but you need to go further. Find that posture shelf, it'll help. Find your roller, tap that elbow. Woo. And then we're gonna end with something you've already learned to do in part 2, and that's the back massage. This is my favorite. Hands up, retract those shoulder blades, tuck the chin, reach the hands for one side. Top arm is gonna slide over top of the bottom arm as you let that roller go right over that hip and shoulder. So awesome. And then reach with the bottom arm. Woo. You do as many of these as you like. This is kind of my favorite. Remember, you're driving with your feet and your hips, just like in part 2. But posture shelf, pull your rib cage back. Let's lift your head up. Big reach. Ah, so nice. And then when you're done, fall off your roller. Let yourself get settled. Hip, hip, shoulder, shoulder. Since we started vertical today, let's end vertical. Let's go ahead and lay your roller on the ground, and I'd like you to hold on to something, maybe a chair or the wall, something where you feel comfortable, and then I'm gonna have you stand on your roller. Widen your feet about hip distance. Let's get your posture shelf. So externally rotate top of each arm, shift your rib cage back, 4 blocks of weight, hips, ribs, shoulders, head, everything lined up. Find that imaginary string, pull that imaginary string through the top, from the top of your head, reposturing your face and neck. And when you're ready, we're gonna release that hand. Woo. Now, it's your hips that really control all of this. That is the base, the bottom block of your 4 blocks of weight. So focus on your hips staying really active, elongating that space between the bottom rib and hip, keeping those 4 blocks stacked. And don't worry about it if you can't get it right away. You've always got your wall or your chair, you'll get it. But focus, it takes concentration. And when you're concentrating on this, your mind is pretty relaxed from all the other things going on in the world. So it's kind of a nice way to meditate a little bit. So tailbone down, length through all 4 blocks of weight. Hold on to your chair or your wall and stay stacked, powered up through your legs. Let your body fight for your balance. And that's how we're going to wrap part 3. So I'll see you in part 4 as we keep moving forward with UnDesk Me.